Good morning to a little divorce coffee talk. I'm Doug Thomas, and this morning we're going to talk about prenuptial agreements, family law and prenuptial agreements. I think about prenuptial agreements like I think about a will. You say, well, what do those two things have in common? Well, if you die without a will, the state decides what happens to your belongings. The state decides what happens to your assets. The state decides what happens to your pets. The state decides what happens to your children even. So when you think about a will, you either get to choose by creating a will, or you let the state decide if you don't have one. The same thing is true with a prenuptial agreement. In the event of a divorce, the state will decide. The state has a set of rules of what happens when you get divorced, and the state will decide what happens to your belongings, what happens to your assets, what happens to your income, what happens to your pets, and what happens to your children. The state decides that. If you have a prenuptial agreement, then it's your opportunity to decide. So it's not like in the case of a divorce, nobody gets to decide. It's your choice. Does the state decide or do you decide? And if you want to decide, if you want to have that say in advance, then you need a prenuptial agreement. Not all prenuptial agreements are created equally. In order to have a valid prenuptial agreement, it must be knowing and voluntary. If you fail to disclose your assets in the prenuptial agreement, then it's not going to be covered and the state will decide for you. It also has to be that the other party has an opportunity to review it, usually with an attorney, and then before they sign it. So if you think you're going to whip it on somebody at the day of the wedding, that's not going to work. Probably not healthy for your relationship in the long term. So when I think about prenuptial agreements, I think it's the opportunity for the couples to decide what will happen in the event of a divorce, and to do so in a knowing and voluntarily way. Thanks. Doug Thomas, that's our Divorce Coffee Talk.